Hope you guys don't mind that I'm sitting outside for this video, and I've also got my laptop right here for my script because I haven't had enough time to memorize this. Today is a great day for grunge fans everywhere. Mick Mars, the guitar player for Motley Crue, just sued the band itself. A representative of Mick Mars told Variety that the band was trying to take away his earnings and throw him out of the band due to his retirement from touring. He also came out saying that the band had been using backing tracks and miming their performances for the entire reunion tour. He claims that Nicky's bass was 100% pre-recorded, that Tommy and Vince had been using pre-recorded tracks. He also alleges that since 2008, he has been gaslit into believing that he was making mistakes on guitar due to cognitive dysfunction. Motley Crue responded to this by saying that Mick's statement and his lawsuit was completely off base and that they didn't owe Mick anything, and that in fact Mick owed them millions of dollars. Now listen, I'm probably preaching to the choir here when I say that Mick Mars is the most talented member in Motley Crue and is the most underrated guitarist of all time. I'm not a big Motley Crue fan. I used to be, I'm not anymore. I'm more of a grunge fan now. But I'm saying this purely as a former fan. I have an issue with how Mick Mars has been treated by Motley Crue and their management, and I would go as far as to say that their treatment towards him has been outright abusive. Now, I'm a survivor of domestic abuse myself. I'm not going to get into detail. That's not here. That's another video. But reading Motley Crue's statement and reading Mick Mars' statement, Motley Crue's statement sounds like something that my abuser has posted about me. The part that really upsets me about this is that Motley Crue claims that they don't owe Mick anything, and then just randomly throws out that he owes them millions of dollars. That kind of comment just feels like an unnecessary attack to make people believe that Mick just cared about the money and how much he had. And to me that seems untrue and just sounds like a very empty and vague statement. As far as live performances go, they claim that Mick played wrong notes, struggled to remember chords, and played the wrong songs. Now, to the degree that they are talking about, he would have been missing notes and songs on every single show. Mick claims that his in-ear monitors were giving him issues and that he was unable to hear himself clearly in the mix. And that could very well be the case. But I wanted to put these claims to the test myself, so I made myself sit through an entire Motley Crue concert from the last tour. Here's what I found. I put this in bullet points for my sake, but I want to say this really quick. Mick Mars claimed that his guitar was the only instrument that was 100% live. Motley Crue claims that Mick Mars was the reason that they had to use backing tracks and mime their performances. Here are the things that I noticed during this concert. Number one, Mick Mars was 100% live. The notes that you're hearing from the guitar are the exact same notes that Mick is playing on the fretboard. Now, sure, he made a couple mistakes here and there, but that's the beauty of live music, is that if the guitar player makes mistakes, at least he's playing live. He probably made a total of 10 mistakes in the entire show. And keep in mind that this show is an hour and a half. Number two, there were multiple points where Nicky Sixx was playing his bass, but his hands were up away from his instrument. Number three, Tommy's drumming did seem mostly live, but I don't believe that it was entirely live. There were moments during his performances where it sounded very fake and very computerized and just felt like a backing track. I would say that maybe 75% of the show was live and another 25% was fake. And if you're faking your drum parts, that says a lot about you as a musician. Number four, Vince Neil. I'm going to start this off by saying I'm not going to make any jokes about Vince's weight or his physical appearance. I believe that those jokes are just in poor taste and they're not even funny. They've been done to death and you're not clever for saying "Shout at the Big Mac" or "Restart My Heart" or anything about the concession stand. You're not funny for calling someone fat. You're just a dick. That being said, Vince Neil sounded about as well as you would expect. Hi, I'm editing this in the future. I wanted to give a quick note about something. So, after getting a couple extra clips for the video, I want to point out that after rewatching, Vince Neil he's not lip syncing, but they're pumping the studio recording through the monitors, and you can just hear him wailing along. And my last point, number 5. I think it's interesting that the choruses have several voices going on at once, but you only really see Nikki Sixx singing. And he's barely singing. The mic is swinging and swaying in front of his face. Now, I wrote the script yesterday after the initial announcement of the lawsuit was made and Motley Crue made their response. And Mick Mars himself put out a statement. And after reading Mick's statement, my opinion of Motley Crue as a band has just lowered so much more. Mick stated that their complaints about his playing and his performances go as far back as 1987. He also claims that they've been trying to replace him ever since then. He finds it incredibly frustrating because he came up with the band name, he wrote the riffs, and he helped fund the band in their early days with his own money. Now, if things couldn't get any worse, Mick has also claimed that the band has been telling him since 2012 that his memory has been deteriorating and that he can't remember songs. Except, Mick's doctors have said that his memory is fine and that his only real medical concern is his condition. How messed up do you have to be to tell your bandmate, your brother, who you get a tattoo of, that he has dementia in an attempt to gaslight him and make him retire? In his statement, Mick Mars went as far as saying that Nikki Sixx couldn't even remember parts to their songs. Now, as far as Mick losing his spot and messing up notes, he claimed that it was due to the bass and drums being turned up in his in-ear monitors and that his guitar was being drowned out by that. I will say that that statement does seem a little vague, but to me, that sounds like Mick saying that they were trying to actively sabotage his performance. I refuse to believe that Mick Mars missing a couple notes in like a couple songs is way worse than this. Mick proceeded to call their reunion tour, and I'm quoting, the worst 36 gigs ever, and that they only intended to do about 12 shows. He did the shows anyway, but he believes that the band has wanted him out and replaced for years. Whew, that was a lot. So I'm going to end it here, but I just want to say this before I go. If it wasn't for his riff writing and his dedication to the music, Motley Crue would not be the band that they are today. While right now we have very little information, what's apparent is this. Motley Crue is trying to sell you snake oil. Between pre-recorded bass, Tommy faking drums, and Vince Neil singing the way that he does, Mick Mars is, hands down, the best musician in the history of Motley Crue. And as a result of the other band members not being able to touch his level of talent, they gaslit him into believing that he was losing his ability to play guitar and developing dementia. Motley Crue can lie to their fans all they want, but when they lie to their guitar player, the most important member of the band, the truth comes to light. Thank you guys for watching this video. I'm sorry that it got very ranty, but I hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you in the next video.